I didn't mean to hear it. That's the part that matters most, I think. If I'd been eavesdropping, if I'd been lurking for pain, the way they sometimes accuse me of doing, then it would have fit the story they like to tell about me, overly sensitive, always looking for offense. But I was just walking down the hallway, phone in hand, half listening to a podcast when I heard my name spoken in that familiar tone, the one that suggested amusement before concern. My aunt laughed first. My brother followed. My mother's voice came last, quieter but sharper. They were in the living room, talking about Christmas like it was a stage production. Who would sit where? Not what would be said as a joke. How I would react. Someone suggested recording it. Someone else said, no, better to let it unfold naturally. That would be more honest. I stood there longer than I should have. Long enough for the details to become clear. Long enough to realize this wasn't a moment of frustration or a one-off comment that could be smoothed over later. It was a plan. Coordinated. Discussed with the casual confidence of people who didn't expect consequences. When I finally moved, it wasn't dramatic. I didn't storm into the room. I didn't interrupt. I went back to my bedroom and sat on the edge of the bed, noticing, with strange detachment, that one of the slats had started to crack. I made a mental note to fix it later. Or not. I wasn't sure I'd be staying long enough for it to matter. That night I didn't sleep much. Not because I was crying or replaying the words over and over, but because something quieter had settled in. A kind of clarity. The sort that comes when disappointment stops surprising you. By morning, I'd already started rearranging things. I emailed my manager, asking if I could cover shifts during the holiday week. I checked train schedules, then flights. I canceled my contribution to the family gift exchange. I didn't announce any of it. I didn't need to. In the days that followed, my family moved forward exactly as planned. Group chats buzzed with logistics. My mother asked if I'd bring the dessert again this year, adding a smiley face at the end like punctuation could soften anything. I replied with neutral confirmations. Yes. No. I'll see. But internally, I was stepping back. Each message felt slightly further away, like watching something through glass. Christmas came quietly for me. I was in a different city, staying in a small apartment borrowed from a coworker who was visiting her parents overseas. The tree was artificial and too tall for the ceiling, so the top bent slightly to one side. I liked that about imperfect, but unapologetic. I worked most of the day, answered emails. Took a walk in the cold just before dusk. Bought myself dinner from a place that stayed open late. Nothing about it felt sad. Not happy either. Just steady. The call came at 9:47 p.m. I watched the phone light up on the table for a full 3 rings before answering. My mother didn't say hello. Where are you? She demanded, that breath tight, as if I'd broken into her house instead of the other way around. There was noise behind her, voices, clinking glasses, the low hum of the television. The performance had already started, and I wasn't on stage. I'm not coming, I said. There was a pause, sharp and stunned. What do you mean? You're not coming, she snapped. Everyone's here. This isn't funny. I leaned back in the chair, looking at the bent tree, at the single ornament I'd hung earlier that day. I felt calm in a way that surprised even me. Did you enjoy my gift? I asked. Silence. What gift? She said, suspicious now. My absence. Her anger arrived in a rush. Accusations followed, selfish, dramatic, embarrassing. She said I was ruining Christmas. She said people were asking questions. She said I owed them an explanation. I didn't argue. I didn't defend myself. I didn't mention what I'd heard, though I could feel the words waiting, heavy and ready. Instead, I said, I didn't feel safe being there. That slowed her down, not stopped her. Just enough to recalibrate. Safe, she repeated. What are you talking about? I'm hanging up now? I said. I hope the rest of the night goes well. I ended the call before she could respond. The next day, my phone filled with messages. Some angry, some confused. A few carefully neutral ones from relatives who sensed something had gone wrong but didn't want to know what. I replied selectively, briefly. I didn't explain. I didn't need to. What shifted things wasn't anything I said to my family. It was something else entirely. A week later, I was called into a meeting at work, not a disciplinary one, an administrative review. My manager and an HR representative sat across from me, folders open. I assumed it was about scheduling or overtime approvals. Instead, they thanked me for covering the holiday shifts and informed me that a permanent position had opened in another department. One with better hours, more pay, more distance. "We think you'd be a good fit," my manager said. "If you're interested." I said so. When the news reached my family, and it did, quickly it changed the tone. The questions softened. The accusations turned into concern. Suddenly, I wasn't avoiding them. I was busy. I wasn't being difficult. I was going through a transition. My mother called again. This time, her voice was careful. "You could have told us you were struggling," she said. "I wasn't struggling," I replied. "I was listening." That ended the conversation faster than anger ever had. Things didn't resolve neatly after that. There was no apology, no tearful reckoning. We spoke less. When we did, it was surface level, polite, controlled. I stopped expecting more, and in doing so, stopped feeling deprived. Sometimes, I think about that night in the hallway, about how easily it could have gone differently. How I could have confronted them, demanded accountability, forced a scene that would have satisfied something immediate and loud. But I didn't want noise. I wanted space. What I learned, quietly, was that dignity doesn't always announce itself. Sometimes it looks like absence. Sometimes it looks like a calm question asked at exactly the right moment, and then nothing more at all.